name's Kelly.
Hi.
Did you find the office okay?
Yeah, the stream was a little difficult, but I managed.
I know what you mean. I drove past it more than once when I first started.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyways, we'll start with what we're here to talk about today.
Okay.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this interview. It's for a class, and my professor will be able to view it. I can stop recording at any time you feel like you need to, and I can show you it after if you want. If there's anything you don't want me to use, I won't. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. But I'd like to view it afterwards.
That's no problem. I'll make it possible. Also, I'm going to need you to sign this confidentiality form. It explains that you are aware I'm a student, and it is your choice to continue with the service, but also know that I stand by the same confidentiality laws. Your personal information will be protected unless you A. Sign a form saying you allow the release of information to any person, agency, or organization. B. The information or counselor is subpoenaed to court. C. There is reason to believe you are at harm to yourself or others. Or D. Any suspicion of child abuse, neglect, or domestic violence. In that case, will be reported to the local Child Protection Service. Read over the form and let me know if you have any questions. Then sign and date it at the bottom, okay?
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Here you go.
Perfect, thank you. Now what brings you here today?
My mother.
What about that?
I cannot stand living with her and her boyfriend too.
Well, can you tell me more about that?
It's just, I don't even know. It's really difficult to explain. My dad left last year with another woman, and it just hasn't been the same since. It seems like everything has gone to shit, and I can't stand it.
Can you give me an example of what you mean by she hasn't been the same?
Oh, yeah, when we were all a family, she was really upset, or really upbeat, and she was very respectful to me. Honestly, like, she was really respectful. Our family just went through so many changes in the past 5 years, mainly revolving around my dad. He had a drug problem and left before, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me. It's just my mom took it really hard this time around.
What happens now with your mom? How does she act?
She's so rude. Everything I do is just wrong in her eyes. She's always yelling at me, and her boyfriend's kids get treated like the perfect little angels, and it seriously makes me even more upset than I already am.
So obviously from what you're telling me, this is having a really strong negative impact on you, isn't it?
It is. My grades are slipping too. I used to be such a good student and so good at school. I don't even know how it got to this point. I'm trying to escape my house by picking up a lot of shifts at work so I don't have to be around my mom. And then it seems like I'm having a hard time keeping my friendships going too. And my energy level is just always so down.
Well, it's good that you're recognizing that other parts of your life are getting affected by this. So let's focus on one part at a time. You say your grades are slipping. Could you be more specific with reasons why you think it's happening?
Well, it's next to impossible to get homework done at home because my mom and I are always fighting about something. And sometimes when I'm working, I don't get off until really late, and by the time I get home, I don't have any motivation to get started on homework because my shifts always start right after school.
I see. So it seems like you have more than one factor affecting your schoolwork.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I never thought work was really interfering much.
Well, it seems like everything affects something else in a way. You've been discussing your schoolwork, but you also mentioned your friendships are getting difficult. Tell me about that.
Well, when my family was together, I would always be the one to have friends over all the time.
And now?
I don't ever have friends at home anymore. It's embarrassing because I don't like fighting with my mom in front of my friends. and that always seems to be the case. And my mom's boyfriend's kids are always occupying the basement, which is the only place in my house where we could possibly hang out.
So you're saying you feel as if home isn't really what it used to be, and it's not a suitable place to relax and hang out with your friends, in fear of you and your mom arguing, or it's already occupied anyways?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. She doesn't see that, and I don't want to lose my friends.
Of course. Well, what I've gathered so far is that you have a difficult relationship with your mother, and your personal relationships are getting hard to maintain because of your situation at home.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Before I just blame everything on my mom, I guess some of my decisions could maybe be affecting things too.
Things can kind of snowball on top of each other. Let's focus on the relationship between you and your mother. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
So you told me your dad left last year. That must be difficult to handle.
Yeah, I hate him. He left with some girl from his work. I haven't talked to him, and he sure as hell hasn't tried to talk to me.
That must be really hard. It obviously has had an effect on both you and your mom.
Yeah, I seem to handle it a bit better though. My mom's just sort of shut down. Then she just jumped into this relationship, and it seems like it's the only thing that matters to her.
And that hurts you a lot.
Yeah, it does. I miss my old mom. We used to be so close.
Separation of a family isn't a simple thing to get over. Is there anything you both enjoy doing with her that maybe you can bring back some of the old memories?
We used to bike together.
Well, nice. Biking could be a start if you were interested.
I just don't want to end up with no relationship with her. It's hard to find positives in her.
Well, let's look at possible alternatives at each aspect. Let's start with work.
Okay.
What's something you could do to possibly have work not interfere with school as much?
I guess I could ask my supervisor for less hours and not take everyone's shifts who asked me to.
Well, that's a good start. That gives you more time to focus on school.
It would really help now that I think about it. School is really important to me. It always has been. Applying for college and university starts soon too, and I know I need to be doing better.
Well, that's exciting. School is very important to focus on. And you're right, especially now is the time to do your best.
I want to be a vet, I think. So I know I do need better marks.
Well, that's a great career choice. Maybe we can look into some tutors and help you get the marks up.
That'd be extremely helpful, actually. And it would get me out of the house, too.
You also said that you're always feeling tired too now. That can't be good if you're functioning every day.
Well, yeah, I'm always tired. I'm at work late some nights, and then when I get home, I can't seem to ever fall asleep.
Why do you think that is?
Well, honestly, I lay in my bed, and it's like my mind can't stop racing. I think about my family a lot, and how I miss everything, and how it used to be. I wonder if my dad even thinks about me. I think of all the things I'm behind for school, and I also feel like I'm losing my best friend. I'm always so down and sad. Maybe that's why I find it so hard to sleep at night. My brain is too awake. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. You're stressed out, and it's causing your mind to race. What change do you want to see that can maybe help?
I should focus more into things that matter, like school and taking care of myself.
What can you do for yourself? You've already made a step in the right direction by coming here.
Work is always something I can do less of, like we talked about. Because although the money is nice and the time away from home, I don't think it's worth me losing sleep or losing my focus on school.
You are right about that.
I just feel like I'm blaming everyone in the world for my problems, but it's all just piling up, and this whole thing with my dad leaving is something I never had expected. It happened to my best friend a few years ago, and it seems like she was able to handle it a lot better than I did.
Well, it seems like you're touching on a few different topics here. The one you brought up more than once is blaming the world for your problems. Have you ever really given that much thought?
Sort of, I guess. It seems easier for me to blame things on something else, rather than really analyzing my problems. Is that wrong? Am I crazy?
No, it's not crazy, and no, you're not wrong. A few years ago, my parents separated, and it really shook me up. I felt like the whole world was just hating me, and everything wrong or bad that happened to me, I blamed on someone or something else. I never took into account my actions that could have led to it, but I worked through it with help, and that's what you're here for. You're looking for that help, which is fantastic on your part.
That makes me feel a lot better. I just don't know how to get out of this rut.
You said before your best friend went through a similar instance. She would make an ideal support system for you. Have you talked to her about it before?
No, not really actually. I don't want to unload my problems on her or open old wounds for her, you know?
You're a thoughtful person, and it shows me you're a good friend. Friends are there for you, especially in times like this. Maybe try asking her if it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Especially about your dad. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? You briefly discussed it earlier.
It's just all so confusing. I don't know why he did it. It hurt us a lot.
Were you guys close?
Yeah, we were really close actually. All when I was younger. I was known as Daddy's little brother. You know? He coached me in softball for so many years. He was my best friend until I was 13.
You say until you were 13. What happened?
Well, he sort of got involved with drugs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he spent days away. He was just never the same anymore. That continued for about a year. I saw him withering away. My mom could only put up with it so much. I know we were struggling to get by.
So your mom was very aware then?
Oh yeah, she was. She eventually kicked him out. When that happened, he disappeared out of my life completely for months.
It must have been so tough.
It was. I had no way to contact him either, and the worst was when people would ask me about it. I never knew quite what to say.
Well, you're a strong girl. What happened after that?
He eventually got himself clean and came back. Mom and him got back together, but it wasn't too long after that when we ran off with that woman. Things were only good for a little bit. Then just again, he's gone. He was just never the same.
I can tell how much your family has gone through. Is him being gone still really affect you now?
Not at first it didn't, because I've dealt with it before.
Did you feel almost numb to it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. But as time passed, I realized how much it does actually bother me.
Well, it can't be easy. Do you feel as if him being gone the way he is has had a big effect on you and your mom's relationship?
Yeah, it really has. She was a complete mess when he left. Last time, it was me who took it really hard, and she took care of me mostly.
And this time?
Well, I know she was hurting more than me. I didn't know how to react, so I just got a job and focused a lot of my energy on time into that, especially when my home situation changed.
That means when her boyfriend and kids moved in.
Yeah. It's like he once came along, nothing mattered there anymore, except him and his kids. She always compares me to my dad.
What does she say when she compares you?
When we fight, she says, oh, I'll end up like he did. She said before she can't even look at me sometimes because I remind her of him.
That's an unfair judgment to make about you. It seems like she's taking her anger and frustrations out on you because you look like him. Have you ever told her how that makes you feel?
Yeah, every time. It makes me so angry because I'm not him. This is why we fight so much.
That is an issue that needs to be worked out between you two. You do want to mend the relationship, right?
I keep telling myself no, but then I know there's no way I can actually mean it.
What's your biggest fear about that?
That she won't take my feelings into account. I want to fix it, but it doesn't seem possible anymore.
Well, you're already doing the right thing by being able to recognize the good and the bad.
Thank you.
What we can do is focus on how we can fix this with your mom. She is a big support for you, and that's if things are mended.
Okay.
Is there anything you think that would be most beneficial with helping you and your mom?
Well, whenever I've tried to talk to her, we've just gotten in a bigger fight. So maybe if we talk for something.
An arranged counseling session could give you both an opportunity.
Okay, that could work.
So what we've come up with so far is that you can talk to work about maybe working less, getting you a tutor for school, as well as you and your mom attending a counseling session together.
I think all of that could help out with my friends too.
Focusing on these things will affect your relationships too. You'll have more time and be more relaxed. The counseling session with your mother was an excellent idea, and you're smart for recognizing that something needs to be done.
Thank you.
When you're at the session with your mom, you will have the ability to open up about your concerns with her and the home situation, all while being in a controlled environment.
I really do look forward to that.
What we can do is schedule a meeting between me and you and have it happen before the one with you and your mom. As well, I will have tutoring information available for you. Now on your part, maybe for next time you come in to see me, try and come up with specific topics you would like to discuss with your mom. We can go over it and make sure you feel comfortable with it. Is that okay?
Yes, I can definitely do that.
Okay, the front desk will contact your mom about the meeting you guys will have. I will see you next week as well, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Hi Kelly, my name is Raylene.
Hi.
Before we begin our session today, there are a few important things we need to go over. Is this okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, great. If you don't mind, I'm going to videotape our session today. Are you comfortable with this? If at any time in our session today you'd like the camera off, please inform me and I will turn it off immediately. Please read and sign this form so I have the permission to film for the record.
Okay, I'm fine with you filming our session.
Also, before we begin, I have one last sheet you need to read and sign. This here is a confidentiality form which will explain in detail of what you should expect from my services today. The length of today's session is your choice, as well as the length of involvement in this service. What you say here today is completely confidential, and I will protect all of your personal information in all cases except for the following. Information or a counselor in training is legally subpoenaed to the courts. You are at risk of harming yourself or another person or any suspicions of child abuse, neglect, or domestic violence. This will be reported to the local child protection service. Take a minute to read and sign this form, and once you're done, we shall begin. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask me.
Is it this one?
Yep.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so before we jump into our session, I just want to let you know that I'd like to take this time to get to know you and focus on listening to your concerns and to try my best to assist you in working towards your goals. Does this sound alright?
Yeah.
Great. Now let's get to the reason you're here today.
Well, I'm currently 5 weeks pregnant, and my parents are really strict. They've already mentioned before that if I were to ever get pregnant, they would just kick me out. And they also don't approve of my current boyfriend, who is the father of my kid.
Well, it seems you have a lot going on right now, and you seem to be under a lot of stress. I'd like to help you move through these stressors and make things easier throughout our time together today. Tell me more about your parents. Your boyfriend?
Well, my parents are really reserved. They're quiet and they keep to themselves. They don't believe that any teen should be a mother because they're simply unexperienced, and school is more important. I have a brother, his name's Tyler, and he's in his second year at the University of Ottawa. He's the star child that both my parents spend all their time on. I kind of get pushed to the side most of the time, and I kind of feel like I'm an outsider in my own family. My boyfriend is the one person I can really be myself around. His name is Brent. We've been together for 2 years, probably the best 2 years of my life. He makes me feel like I'm worth something, and he gives me a reason to smile. I can't imagine living life without him. He makes me really happy. And I don't know. This is all just crazy right now.
Okay. Knowing that your parents feel the way they do about teen pregnancy, have you thought of any of the other available options? What are your boyfriend's thoughts on you being pregnant?
No, like, there's nothing more than I want to be a mother. I don't believe in abortion, and there's nothing anyone can say to change my mind. I am aware that things won't be easy, and balancing my life while raising a child will be a lot to handle, but this is what I want. My boyfriend Brent is very happy with the news. He is 2 years older than I am, and he has a stable job. And he does tell me that he wants to eventually get his own place with me. He wants everything to do with my baby, and he's happy to be a dad. He has told his parents, and they didn't have much to say about it. Regardless, it doesn't matter what other people think.
Okay. Well, it is clear you have really taken the time to realize the amount of responsibilities you will have while preparing for your child and for when the baby arrives. Everyone is entitled to their own beliefs, and from what you said, abortion is not an option, and I respect your decision. You mentioned that your boyfriend has a stable job, and he is ready to take on the role of being a father, and you're prepared for taking on the role of a mother. You have been together for 2 years now, correct?
Yeah, just a little over 2 years.
Okay. Do you think this has given you enough time as a couple to start a family?
It may sound crazy, but yeah, I do believe 2 years has given us enough time to really understand one another. And we've grown so much. Throwing a baby on a relationship now has really rushed things though, from being teenagers to adults. I don't know, I wasn't really expecting this to happen so soon.
I'm glad you have found a stable relationship and someone who clearly wants nothing but the best for you. Earlier on, you mentioned your boyfriend had told his parents that you're pregnant and that they didn't have much to say about it. How does that make you feel? And have you begun thinking of ways to break the news to your own parents?
It makes me feel a little uneasy. It's odd that they had nothing to say about it. I'm happy they don't disagree with my reason for keeping the child though, but I thought they'd have some sort of input. I haven't really gone around thinking about ways to break the news to my parents. I don't know, what should I do?
This is a lot to take in for certain families, so it is common for some parents to not have an opinion right away. I'd give it time, and I'm sure once it sinks in that they will begin discussing it with you and Brent. One thing you need to remember is that parents always want the best for their children. They want to guide them in the direction of success. From what you have said about your parents, they won't take this news lightly. I would suggest asking your parents if they would partake in a counseling session where you could be in a calm environment where breaking the news may make it easier. If that isn't an option, try speaking with them out in a more public place where others are present. Kelly, please remember that this is a lot for your parents to take in. Remember that being upfront and honest about things is better than saying nothing at all. But it is also important for your parents to be mindful of your decision and realize that this isn't an easy process for you either. Do you have any close friends or relatives you could talk to who you can trust with this?
I like the idea of counseling, but I don't think my parents would agree with it. They're just not that kind of people. I will try going out into a public setting to tell them I'm pregnant. I really wish my parents were more accepting. I have an aunt who I'm really close with, and I know she would be there for me and to take me in if my parents did decide to take me out.
Well, that's really good to hear. I'm glad you're open with that option. Tell me about your aunt. She seems to be someone you trust, who would be willing to take you in if need be. Do you believe your situation is one you could talk about with her?
Yeah, she is a teen mother, and if anything, she knows how hard it is. She would take me in and help me through everything. She's always understood me, more than my own family. She wouldn't judge me, and she would stand by my decision. The only issue is she was an hour away from here, and I don't know how Grant would feel about that. I don't want to leave him. I'm really torn.
I'm happy to hear that you have another adult figure in your life who's very supportive and has been through this. Knowing that your aunt will take you in, how is this making you feel, like leaving your friends, school, and even your boyfriend? Is there a possibility that he could move in as well?
I know what the right decision is. I'm not looking moving in with my aunt if my parents decide to kick me out. I would have to leave everything behind though, but I do need to make the best choice for myself and my child. I would need to talk to my aunt about having him stay with us. You're really helping me figure things out though. Thank you for your support.
I'm happy we're able to work together, Kelly, and come up with different ways of making this process easy. Pregnancy can be a difficult thing, but we have covered different options. So far, we've gone over a few major issues. However, which one do you believe is most pressing? Let's focus on.
I think it's best we focus on one thing at a time. It'll help me sort things out. My biggest concern out of all the others is talking to my parents. They mean the world to me. I don't want to disappoint them, but they need to understand that it is my life, and I am going to make my own decisions. All I really want is their support.
You're very strong-willed, and I can tell that once you make a decision, nothing or no one is going to change your mind. I can't speak for your parents, but since you are their daughter, I can't see them not listening to what you have to say. We have weighed out other options. Oh,
Well, for as old as I am, I have to agree that I am nearing mature. I have to be now more than ever because I am bringing a baby into the world. I know I'll still need some guidance, but I have the support from my aunt, and I'm going to continue with these sessions. Since I found out I've been pregnant, I've been trying to make sense of a lot of things, and I'm trying to put two and two together. The problem currently occurring is between my parents and I, like I stated earlier. I still need to figure things out, but I do feel extremely stressed, and this can't be good for the baby. Right now, I kind of just feel like I'm stuck. I want to reach out to my parents, but I just know they won't understand. As much as I know they love me, I know they won't be able to get over their little girl being pregnant, especially with a boy they don't generally like.
growing up, I had to make it on my own as well. I didn't have much support from my family because they didn't agree with my life choices. I learned a lot about myself. For as hard as it was growing up, and facing everything on my own, it's really made me the person I am today. I would just suggest taking baby steps with your parents. Don't throw it all on them at once. This is a lot to take in for them. Just keep that in mind. I know there seems to be a lot on your plate right now, and you are right. We need to reduce your stress levels. Maybe we could think of some simple stress relievers when you can feel it coming. One is breathing. Take a time out when things are overwhelming. Another good one is to write it down. Express your feelings on paper. That could also be a good way of breaking the news to your parents if all options don't fit. Learn to make some time for yourself. You cannot always worry about what others think of you. Take some time to do things you like, or some time to be alone. Right now, what would it take to make you feel more content, happier, or more satisfied?
I would have never guessed that you had left to be on your own. No offense or anything. I will keep those 3 stress relievers in mind. I do think they'll help me out. Right now, I'd probably be much happier if my parents could just be on board with my pregnancy, so that I wouldn't have to move away from my boyfriend. It is only an hour, but this can make things stressful between us, and that has never been an issue. Brent keeps me sane, and he really does want to be a part of our child's life. He will be devastated if I have to move, but I know he'll understand that if I don't have any other option. Things just need to clear up with my parents, and since it's all out in the open, I will feel much better regardless of what they say.
Good. It will make things much easier knowing that your boyfriend is on board with these decisions. I know how big of an impact you have on your life. And good communication between the two of you is key to a relationship. What goals would you like to achieve, Kelly? Either today or throughout our sessions together. I really want to work together to make realistic and reachable goals that we can look back on and say you achieved them.
Well, one goal I'd like to achieve is being able to control my stress levels and eventually remove myself from them. I know you can't hide from stress, but you can do certain things to keep it down to a minimum. I feel we went over ways, which I'm going to try, but another overall is my parents' and I's relationship. I want things to mend back together after I tell them the news. I will need to come back and discuss other options for us. I won't be able to do it alone.
I really do admire how open and honest you have been with me today, Kelly, and how honest you are with yourself. You took the time to tell yourself that this isn't something you can do on your own, and that you needed some guidance. The goals you've chosen are reachable, and by working together, we will get there. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like to?
No, I believe we went over everything I needed to talk about today. I'm going to take what you said and apply it to my plan of telling my parents I'm pregnant. I'm also going to remind myself of the stress activities. I also think I'd like to bring my boyfriend along to one of our next sessions to help prepare and discuss the next steps for the 2 of us.
I think bringing your boyfriend to our next session would be a great idea. We can discuss his thoughts and feelings on this, and we can think of other alternatives to reach your goals and his. I'm looking forward to following up with you next week, Kelly.
Okay, thank you for all your advice, and I'll seriously consider it. I'll see you next week then. I'll bring Brent with me.